Hi everyone, welcome back to the data center equipment series. This is episode 2 on medium voltage to low voltage transformers. Okay, so I just want to say I'm no expert on transformers, but we are experts on the commissioning process. We could get into the nitty-gritties of testing this equipment, but we're going to skip that for another day. You can also ask Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot on that stuff too. It'll give you an extensive list of tests that need to be done, but I'm not going to get into that today. I'm going to leave that to the subject matter experts who should know all about that stuff for you. So let's get straight into it. When you arrive, there should be an approved technical submittal for the transformer. This should be on your CDE, your Common Data Environment. So it's ACC or Procore or Dalux or one of them. And check that your technical submittal is there and is approved. That's the first thing. So your technical submittal approved. Get that done, make sure it's done. The CXA should also be making sure that's done if they're involved at this stage, which they should be, doing spot checks every now and again. And hopefully you're engaged in the project before the factory witness test or the factory acceptance test. So factory witness test, when is it on? OFCI manager should be able to tell you when that test is on. You may need to go there or you may not, find out. And the factory witness test will go through all the testing that needs to be done to get the red tag. Sometimes the red tag is up here, but more these days the red tag is only released when the equipment gets set in place. So there's going to be a transport time from wherever it's going. Could be a few weeks, could be a few days. You should have a delivery date, and the logistics team, this is something I make them do on the sites I'm on. The logistics team should be trained up on this. There should be a receipt verification form set up in the CDE, so it's a common form for all equipment, and you're just making sure that the right equipment has arrived, it's at the right site, the tags and the addresses and the information is correct on the shipping documents, it's right on the packaging, and that there's no major damage, no water damage can be seen, no exterior damage to the crate or the container that it's in. And once that's approved and you go through it and make sure it's assigned to the right asset, you can then move in, take it off the truck. So you should have a logistics plan for this, and the truck driver should know where to go, or someone should show him where to go. You might need a dock leveler, you might need a forklift, you might need a teleporter, you might need a crane, depends on the equipment. And then you need to know how are you moving it from the truck. Are you going to drop it on the ground for a while, or are you put it into storage, or you bring it inside? So all this will be in the logistics plan. It needs to be thought out well in advance by the time it comes to being on site, otherwise you're going to have absolute chaos. So you want to save time here, time is money, and we have the roll and route set out. Everyone knows that morning in the DABS meetings that transformers are coming in. Steer clear of those corridors if needed. Safety is first. We don't want transformer landing on someone. That's going to be a very bad day for everyone. And we know how are we leaving the packaging on? Probably bring it into a unpackaging place, or maybe straight into the switch room. It depends on the logistics plan. There might be reasons why you should be unpacking it earlier because of dust and dirt and the environment. Waste management as well. Where is all that waste going? Take it out of there as soon as you can. There might be doors that need to be left off, or doorways need to be bigger, so plasterboard and the drywall, it needs to be a bigger hole, so logistics plan has to cover that in, and they should be doing exactly the roll and route that's in the plan. You might need skids or whatever underneath the transformer to move it in, or you might have enough space that you can bring it in on a forklift. So anyway, you've got it into the room and you're going to set it in place on the floor. This should be set out by the set out engineer beforehand. You can verify this with augmented reality these days. If you have that in place, I would highly recommend that you do. Transformers, pretty easy. It's going to be encased in an enclosure. So the enclosure is going to come in loads of pieces, and that's going to take a while to put together. but you have the transformer set in place, generally where it's supposed to go. Because the enclosure is going to be there, you kind of a little bit of a tolerance. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it's going to determine where the main switchboard goes if it's attached onto it. If it isn't attached onto it, it's not as important. So we have it set in place now, and we have set in place inspection form. Same thing if it's on ACC or Procore, it's a digital inspection sheet. Keep the checks pretty simple. It doesn't need to be War and Peace. You don't want to be repeating yourself. We can do a whole episode on how to create check sheets, but this should be tied to an asset. So we'll say this is TX-01 to oversimplify a tag, but all the metadata should be attached to the asset. So you don't need to fill that in every time you do a check sheet. It should just be back to this tag. So be aware of that when you're doing digital check sheets. It's not like a paper check sheet. You know, all the information is being bundled together against the asset, so you don't need to keep repeating and creating valueless work. Photographs are important. Photographs tell 1,000 words. So have plenty of checks for add photo here. With an iPad, you can just take a picture of what you're doing. So you have it set in place. You've done your set in place inspection. So all that is up on the CDE and is ready for inspection by the CXA or the client team, and then they can say, yes, we're happy with all the documentation, the red tag can be applied. And now you can release that transformer, and this might all happen in the same day. Hopefully it does if you're going good. Then you can start your install. So you're connecting your MV cables, or at least you're getting them ready to be connected. You don't need to connect them yet. And then your bus bar or your LV cables to the main switchboard. Usually will be the MSB, the main switchboard. It will be some sort of switchboard anyway. That's kind of the hub of the electrical system. Switch is working, so if the temperature of the transformer goes too high, that'll kill the incoming feed from the MV switchgear. That all needs to be tested pretty much after power goes onto it, so everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to do. It's in your power on plan that we're getting the bulk of the level 3 testing done just after. Make sure the paperwork is done. If they're digital check sheets, no one's allowed leave that day till they're fully filled out. CXA and client team are there with you. Everyone's fully informed, and get that paperwork finished that day. Don't leave it till the next day. Don't let people disperse, and then that thing is ready for handover to commissioning, probably in a few weeks' time. But the CXA is there with you. They're happy with the results. They're happy with what's done, and it has to be documented properly. And take plenty of pictures. Take pictures of the test equipment, calibration dates. Take pictures of it all and put it against the check sheet, and then there's no questions later on. You know it's correct. Okay, so for the commissioning process, I'm not going to get into the inspection and testing too much. The vendor will be heavily involved. The electrical test team will be involved for the cable testing or the bus testing. If this transformer is bought with the switchgear by the same vendor, they will have to test the connection point between the transformer and the main switchboard, which makes it a lot easier. But just a note on that, the RACE or the roles and responsibility matrix will detail exactly who's supposed to do what here. This can get messy and it can cause delays if it isn't clearly defined before the project starts. So this is also a pre-construction. So get your RACE completed and approved. The vendors know what they're doing. The electrical contractor knows what they're doing. The CXA knows what they're doing. The general contractor knows what they're doing. The client team knows what they're doing. And the SAP team, the APs, know what they're doing. Okay, so the inspection testing has gone well. Everything's fine. Tap settings are adjusted. We've lessons learned from other ones. You just try and get the tap settings right first time if you can. And then we'll have a pre-energization meeting with all the people I just mentioned in a room, and we sit down and we say, are we all happy that we're safe to turn power on to this transformer? And this usually is one of the biggest steps in the project, because this usually is at the very much near the same time as you're getting main power to the MV switchgear, and that's first time power gets to site, and then hopefully very soon after that you're going to let power off from the MV switchgear to the transformer and into the incoming breaker for the main switchboard. And that is one of the biggest milestones on a data center project. That is definitely the back is broken on the project then. And hopefully the rest of the stuff downstream is ready to be energized in a perfect world, but we often don't get there. But more on that later on. Pre-energization meeting, everyone's happy. We've gone through all of this. Again, made sure we're all happy. Made sure that the permitting system is in place, that the lockout tagout is in place, all safety aspects. The room now has to be a permit to work area. No one's allowed to walk through there anymore. There's a guard on the door. All that's done. I won't get too much into it now, but that's super important. Safety first. And then on the day, usually do this pre-energization meeting the evening before and the morning of. And then we go out to site, and there'll be a final test on the cables. There'll be a final walkthrough, make sure there's nothing in there, lock the enclosure, and get power to that transformer. And there's usually a soak period of 24 hours, but just after you get power on, there's some testing that needs to be done. So you're doing your phase rotation, phase voltages, make sure the fan works, so you're manipulating the control settings, make sure that the temperature switch is working. So if the temperature of the transformer goes too high, that'll kill the incoming feed from the MV switchgear. That all needs to be tested pretty much after power goes onto it, so everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to do. It's in your power on plan that we're getting the bulk of the level 3 testing done just after. Make sure the paperwork is done. If they're digital check sheets, no one's allowed to leave that day till they're fully filled out. CXA and client team are there with you. Everyone's fully informed, and get that paperwork finished that day. Don't leave it till the next day. Don't let people disperse. And then that thing is ready for handover to commissioning, probably in a few weeks' time. But the CXA is there with you. They're happy with the results. They're happy with what's done, and it has to be documented properly. And take plenty of pictures. Take pictures of the test equipment, calibration dates. Take pictures of it all and put it against the check sheet, and then there's no questions later on. You know it's correct. Thanks for watching. We have transformer commissioning plans, and we have flow charts available. If you want them, give us an email. That's it for today's one. Next week we have generators, so I'll see you then.